Hello, my name is Shavonne Jones. I am a licensed clinical social worker and I specialize in maternal mental health. So I'm coming here to you today to discuss miscarriage. Marcia Dimes reports that up to 50% of pregnancies end in miscarriage. So this is a very common common thing to experience. A lot of times they say 50% is because a lot of times women miscarry before they even realize that they are pregnant. So they'll get their period and they don't realize that that's an actual miscarriage. If they're a few days late or a few weeks late and it's a miscarriage. But a lot of women do know that they are experiencing a miscarriage. So if you're experiencing a miscarriage, it's common to go through the stages of grief, which is denial, where you just don't and you can't accept what's going on. You know, you're holding out hope that it's not really happening. There's the bargaining, which is just hoping and praying that it's not happening and just trying to make a deal, trying to make a deal with God, with anyone. If this isn't happening, I'll do this and I'll do that. There's anger, and anger is just when you're furious, when you're mad, when you refuse to accept what's going on, and you're angry. You could be angry with yourself, you can be angry with your spouse, you can be angry with God. A lot of people feel that anger and rage, So a lot of people feel angry with their bodies that it wasn't able to keep the baby, or just whatever causes and whatever reasons the miscarriage happened. There's also the phase of being depressed, and that's where you have an overwhelming feeling of sadness. You can't shake it. You're depressed, you're overwhelmed, and you're completely sad. The next phase is acceptance, and that's just where you come to terms with what's going on. You don't forget it. It doesn't hurt any less, but you are beginning to accept what has happened and what is happening. Um, so if you're going through a miscarriage, and even if you aren't going through it or you don't have any experience with it, if up to 50% of pregnancies end in miscarriage, most likely you have a friend, a cousin, a sister, a coworker, someone that you know that has experienced it or that will experience it at some point in their life. So these are definitely some tips that you can suggest to them. So the first tip would be communicate. Communicate with your spouse. Communicate and just let them know how you're feeling. A lot of times, miscarriage can make you feel like you're secluded, like you're alone, like you're the only person experiencing this trauma. When in actuality, your spouse may be feeling the exact same thing that you're feeling, but they may feel like they have to be strong or they can't verbalize what's going on because it's happening to your body physically. Your body is going through these changes physically, so they may not feel like they can really share in that experience or communicate what's going on with them. Another thing is communicate with close friends. If you have a close friend, a close sibling, your mom, if 50% of pregnancies have ended in miscarriage, that means most likely the people around you have experienced it. It's a stigma surrounding miscarriage, so a lot of people don't just walk around and say, hey, I've had a miscarriage. A lot of people will keep that to themselves. So when you share that you're struggling with a certain experience or you're struggling with your miscarriage, a lot of people will come out and say, well, I've had that experience as well. And it's good to speak with someone that have gone through what you're going through, because they can say, hey, I've been there. It happened to me 3 years ago, and I have a successful pregnancy and I have healthy children after that, or it gets better. And it does get better. Another thing you can do is keep a journal. You can discuss how you're feeling. You can write what your body is going through. You can write your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations for your baby, for the baby that you've lost, and just some of the things that you would have wanted to say to that baby as a way to get closure. You also can get a memorial candle and write whatever you want to write on it, put a little quote on there, decorate it, make it look really nice for your baby. And every time you have those emotions and every time you get that feeling of sadness or grief, you can light the candle, you can say a prayer, you can do whatever with the candle that you want to just symbolize your loss. With the stages of grief that we discussed a little earlier, there's no time frame on how long it takes to get through each phase of grief. You may go through the feeling of depression first, and then you may get angry. You know, you may be in denial, then you may move straight into acceptance. There's no time frame, there's no time limit. Never feel like you can only grieve for a week. It doesn't work like that, you know. Or my friend went through it and she was fine the next day. Every person is different, you know. We don't really know how people are coping with whatever they're coping with, but it is important that you go through your grieving process and you allow yourself to experience everything within that process. It's okay. There's no, like I said, there's no time frame or time limit on what you're experiencing, how you're experiencing it. It's all individual to you. And I just wanted to encourage you guys, if you are going through a miscarriage or if you have gone through a miscarriage, that it will be okay. You may be able to possibly just have a wonderful, healthy pregnancy your next go round. And there may be different reasons that you are going through it, but discuss it with your doctor and come up with a plan to try again, you know. But I just wanted to encourage you and just give you those tips on how you can get through the healing process and how you can cope with having a miscarriage. If you have any comments or concerns or questions, please leave them below and subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day.